Anupreet, we started the session directly yesterday also, and today also I'm going to start the session.
Please,
Yes,
please, please
yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you. Till today, we have discussed about various fundamentals of research. And yesterday, I talked about the research designs. There also, I have suggested some modifications in research design, and we have discussed about the research design of a research paper, research design of a research proposal, and then research design of a dissertation. Now, it is actually second part of research design. And in this lecture, I was supposed to deliver a lecture or talk about the data analysis in geographical research. But it seems that I may not cover all the branches and all the technologies. So I have decided to deliver a talk on use of computer technologies in geographical research. And in this lecture, I am going to focus on Google services, then SPSS and Microsoft Word only, because there are another lectures on GIS, remote sensing at the end of this workshop. Some part has been already covered by the various resource persons. So I'm going to deliver a talk on use of computer technologies in geographical research with a special focus on Google Forms, Microsoft Word, and SPSS. Development in computer technologies have played a major role in paradigm shift in geography. So we need to consider the applications of computer technology, and through that only we can achieve a quality in our research. Generally, when we talk about steps of research, this is the defining of the problem. It has been already discussed. The methods of data collection and methods of data analysis already discussed by various other resource persons. Then proper interpretation, research writing and submission of the research work for the award of degree and publication. This part is very much important, and we need to discuss on the same. But today in this lecture, I am going to talk about how to collect the data through Google Forms, then how we can integrate Google Form with SPSS, and then we will discuss on how we can use the Microsoft Word or any other similar software for effective writing of our research findings, and you can say conclusion or a research achievement. My question is, does research in geography is necessary? And I'm very happy to convey that yes, it is really necessary, because geography is a spatial science and it has an capability to integrate all other physical, social, cultural sciences. We can integrate with all social sciences. We can integrate with all the physical sciences. So research in geography is very much necessary, and it has linking with uh, the process of decision making. So it is necessary. Why it is required? The ultimate objective of our research should be to create laws, theories and models for the sake of society. I am doing my PhD research work, I am doing my MPhil research work, I am publishing a paper. It should be the sake of the society and sake of the country, or in the sake of nation. So how my research is going to be beneficial for the society and nation, or overall world, that we need to consider, and that should be our ultimate objective. Now I have another question. Does the research in geography contribute to knowledge enrichment and development of the subject? You can answer, but yes, the answer is partial yes. And the majority of the research in geography was previously it was descriptive and informative, but now development in the technology, or you can say development in computer technology, has playing a major role in the qualitative and enhancement of geographical research, or you can say the quality of geographical research has been increasing or enhancing with the application of computer technology. Now, for example, population, if you talk about population, previously it was only description of the population, how the pattern is changing with the changes in spatial units of investigation, or how, what are the temporal changes in the population distribution and population growth and other dynamics of population. For example, I would like to share with you, if you see some thesis, at the last time when I'm going to demonstrate practical, I will show one article to you also, because I'm working as a referee for various research journals, and it was the year 2015 when I had three articles, and articles were related to tourism. Only the study region was different, objectives were same, methodology were same, outcomes were same. And even it was, you may feel it fun, but it was reality that the location map was also same in all the three papers. So you can say in some cases the quality of the research is not up to mark, and now it is a responsibility at the end of you, that you young researchers should focus on qualitative research, and then only it will be beneficial for the society and for the national development. What to what to do to improve the quality of the research? Actually, we need to focus on quantitative data and qualitative data. For our research, that Dr. Anupreet Singh Tiwana ji already focused on ethnography, and his overall focus was that in our research we should integrate qualitative as well as quantitative data. At the same time, what are the data that we are going to use, that should be qualitative, it means it has quality, and we should have very much quantitative information also. Then another aspect is qualitative analysis of the data. For the analysis of data, nowadays various technologies are available. For example, suppose previously when we collect the data, and I suppose I am a researcher, and I am going to find out the growth rate of population for entire India from 1901 to 2001 or 2021. At that time, it was the need that we should take the calculator and calculate through manually, and then we'll only after using some equations we can predict the population for the year 2031, 2041 or 2051. But nowadays computer technology has shifted very effectively, and computer technology has provided various opportunities to analyze the data with qualitative aspect. Then another aspect is qualitative research writing. You may find that some of the theses are their objectives are very good. Then you will find that the data quality is very good. Then you can say methodology that employed it is also very good. But while writing, they have committed mistakes. Sometimes you may feel that it is not in accordance with the standards. At that time, when a third person is reading your research, he may put a question mark on your research. So qualitative research writing is also necessary. Then qualitative presentation of the research. When you are going to present a research paper, in any national, international conference, or in front of RAC or in front of RRC, or any other expert who is going to provide feedback to you, or any decision maker, policy maker, at that time qualitative presentation of the research is really very necessary. Yesterday I read one report related to women engagement in higher education system, especially in science sector. This report is prepared by government of India for the some of the developing countries in the world, and it is UNESCO project. But you will find when I read that project, I observed that they presented qualitatively. I mean, they didn't did the different things, but they presented the things with different aspect. And when you will look at that report, you will find that really they have did something very good, and that point we need to consider, because sometimes you may feel that when you were in college at that time the approach of the other faculty members may not be appropriate towards the geography faculty or geography students, because I has my own experience. When I was a student, at that time when I went to English class, at the English faculty member immediately said that please go outside, otherwise our result will be lower, because geography persons may not pass the English. They may be expert in subject, but they are lagging behind in English. That was their approach. And these points we need to consider. There are ample resources are available. You can say through this computer technology, writing is also not a matter. Nowadays we can write in our own mother tongue, and that can be translated in English, and we can take help of translators. And then qualitative and timely publication of the research outputs. Both the things are very important. Your research output should be qualitative, and it should be published within stipulated time only. What is qualitative and timely publication? Qualitative publications means your research should have quality, and while publishing you should consider the journal which has quality, and your research should be published within a stipulated time only. For example, suppose I am dealing with a temporal data and which may not have the relevance after 1 year or 2 year. You are working on population, and if your results are based on 2011 data, that should be published immediately after the data has been published by the Census of India. And if we conducted the research related to population, and after 10 years or after more time than the 10 years, and if we try to publish at that time, that research may not be relevant to meet the needs at local, regional, national, or at the global level. So we should consider these points while publishing our research. Another one thing is IPR and patent. Suppose I have given a very unique definition of any branch of knowledge. At that time, I should register for the IPR. And also, if I have contributed for the development of any particular branch or any particular aspect, and that can be patented, at that time I should file the patent. I am very glad to convey you all that on 21st October we will have a session on patents in geography, because it was the situation, or it was the thinking of most of the geographers, that geographers can't file a patent because they have very limited scope. Even though we can file the patent, and it has been proved by various researchers. Recently, Dr. Butala from the Konkan region and one more faculty member from Augusti College has received patents for their research work. So that's why you need to consider when you are going to submit a proposal or submit a thesis. Now my question is how to improve the quality of the research. The answer may be use of technology, but I'm not of the same opinion. My answer will be the perfect, or you can say the perfect answer is use of technology with basic understanding related to the problem. Because it is my experience. I was in IRS Dehradun with my friend Anuprit ji, and at that time we had discussion with one architecture. He was from Chennai. One day after dinner, we were discussing about the ArcGIS and its applications. And at that time, he told that GIS is, we can say, उसको बोगस बोलते हैं, उसमें कुछ नहीं है. I asked the question, why you are talking like this? He told that GIS giving me false information. Immediately, I took his laptop and opened the concerned region, and then I asked him that what does mean by contour. He replied, I don't know what does mean by contour. And even though he was generating the contours using GIS. And what was his problem? He was saying that contours are in minus, so it should not be there. But fact was that he was working on coastal region, and the region which is below the sea level will always be, which will always show the height in minus only. So we should be aware about the basic things, and if we are going to apply the technology with basic understanding, then only we can achieve the quality research. Otherwise it may be a gigo, that is garbage in and garbage out. Okay. Anuprit ji, am I audible?
Yes, sir, very much you are audible. Your lecture is very interesting.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Now the computer technology can be divided into two parts from the geographical point of view, that is data collection technology and data analysis technology. And in data collection technology, nowadays aerial photography is being used very widely. I'm not going to focus a detailed light on these parameters because there is separate lecture on applications of remote sensing and GIS in geographical research, and that will be at the end of this workshop. Then remote sensing, it is an art and science of acquiring information about an object without being physical contact with it. There are various types of remote sensing data, that is visible, SAR remote sensing is there. I'm not going to focus detailed light. Then drone technology can also be used to collect the data. Nowadays it is widely used. And next one is e-questionnaire. I will focus on today. Today I will focus on only e-questionnaire, that how through e-questionnaire we can collect the primary data, because previously we were using questionnaire, we were sending it through the post or any other medium, and we were collecting the information. But nowadays in these days of technology, we can use e-questionnaire for the collection of data. Then data analysis technology. In data analysis technology, we can categorize the techniques into two parts, that is GIS analysis and statistical analysis. For GIS analysis, there are various softwares are available. Some are free, some are open source, some are proprietary. For example, ArcGIS is a proprietary software. QGIS is an open source software. There is difference between free and open source softwares. Some softwares may be free, but they may not be open source. But some softwares are free as well as open source. That part will be covered differently. Then statistical analysis. For statistical analysis, various softwares are used. You can see, for example, MS Excel. This is the software that can be used for the statistical analysis. One more commonly used in social sciences, that is SPSS, statistical package for social sciences is there. Then also, if you Google it, you will find there are so many softwares are available on internet, and you can freely download it and you can use it for the data analysis, that is statistical analysis technology. And in this lecture today I am going to talk about SPSS also. Just I will give insight, or you can say an overview of the software. Then research writings and presentation technology. Previously, when I was a research scholar, at that time we were writing the thesis and we were submitting it to the person who is typing. But at that time, computer was only used for the typing purpose. But nowadays, we can download various applications, and through that applications we can enhance the quality of our research writing. Sometimes you may find from that text you will rectify the grammatical errors. You can rearrange the sentences according to plagiarism needs, and graphical presentation. All these parameters or all these components are possible through this computer technology. Yes. If you talk about Google, Google is providing n number of services to its users, and all are free of cost. That Google Blogs can be used. Why blogs? How blogs will be useful? That immediately, suppose today you have an idea, immediately you can blog it, and it will maybe helpful to you to protect your rights, that is IPR, intellectual property rights. Google Forms can be used for the generation of e-questionnaire. Google Sites may be useful to collect the data and for other things, to publish the detailed information about your project as a website also. It is providing free of cost. Also Google Apps, you can develop your own app and you can publish it through Google, and that may be useful to you to collect the data. Suppose for example you are going to collect the data about the tube wells or wells, the for example when that well was constructed, then what is the depth of the well. Similarly, n number of questions are there concerning the well and depth of water in the well. For that you can generate your own app, and if you provide the links through Google services for location based, Google will publish or advertise the same with the specific locations only. Suppose some of the persons from you are working on Pune, that Google has the facility that your e-questionnaire or your applications will be available to see and download in the restricted region only. So it is possible and we can use the same. In GIS, you can see that overlay analysis, buffer analysis, network analysis, these are the various technologies or techniques are available, and through that we can take a proper decision. Suppose you are interested to publish an app that may be related to your study region. That app may provide information to a common man and that will be helpful to the common man for decision making. Suppose I am going to purchase a home. At that time, what are the points that I will consider? I will see that bus stand will be should be very close. Then a school should be within a radius of 2 kilometers. Then there should be very good water supply. Then social structure should be very good. These are the various parameters that I am thinking being a user. So I will give the preferences, and according to that preferences, a app will be helpful to depict that information to the users. Okay, and this is only possible only after when we are going to link various apps and web GIS, then it is possible. If you feel that we should focus on web GIS, we may keep a separate session on the same. Okay, then by considering the time, I will only focus on e-questionnaire. Then how to analyze the data collected through e-questionnaire with minimum efforts. Then how to write research work effectively and publications. I will talk about the same. Now I will give you demo of e-questionnaire. While giving the demo, I am of the opinion that most of the students are PG students and research scholars, and they may not be much more aware about the e-questionnaire. I will only give one or two questionnaire, and then I will link you, or then I will shift to SPSS. Okay. To generate a e-questionnaire, you should open your Google Drive, and in Google Drive there is an option that is new. You will focus on here more, than Google Forms. You may be aware about the Google Form because in these days all are computer literate. I will only focus on what should be the question type. Okay, and I will put here only one or two questions to save the time. Suppose you are going to collect the information about the vaccinated persons, those who have taken the vaccination or those who have vaccinated, either they are facing some problems or else. Being a geographer, we should also aware about their locations, and we can integrate any application with this. So the person who is filling the information, automatically his locational information will be acquired. So my first question may be name. Now you have to consider, is it necessary to have a name in their questionnaire? Sometimes name is not required because we are not interested in names. We are interested in their response. And sometimes it happens that I am writing my name, that's why I am giving the false information. Suppose uh, I tried to collect the information regarding the burqa. I interviewed 3 to 4 girls. Later on, I stopped that research. At that time, they told me that if you are asking our names and you are recording the same, we are not willing to disclose the information. That may be the case. So while writing the question or adding the point question for name, just check the necessity. Is it necessary to have a question for name? Otherwise leave it, because we are collecting the information through online mode. Automatically their email ID will be recorded and it will be considered valid while collecting the data. Okay. Now I am interested in gender. Sometimes what happens, gender, and some researchers give short answer. One may write only am, one may write male, one may write in capital, one may write in small letters. At that time, it will be very difficult for the analysis of the data. So, you need to provide MCQs, that is multiple choice. And my first option will be 1 dash male. Why am I writing 1? I will give detailed information about it while using the SPSS, because I want to link the e-questionnaire with SPSS. I'm interested to save my time, and if we think for the questionnaire, or sometimes I suggest to all the researchers, initially you focus on SPSS, that there are two views are there in SPSS. One is data view and another one is attribute view. Initially you define the attributes or define the variables in variable view, and then only you go to questionnaire. But nowadays what is happening, because I'm getting the response from the various research scholars related to various social sciences in the Konkan. Last year one researcher has came to me and he asked, sir, I have collected this data, now you use this data in SPSS and tell me result. It is not possible, because at the time of data collection we should consider what is the requirement of the SPSS. So one male, second female, then third transgender, third one transgender. Our question may be related to any aspect. It may be related to impact of COVID-19 situation or any other things. It may be related to your topic. I'm not going to add further more questions because I have to finish my entire lecture in before 5:30. So I'm skipping this presentation here. You will add the question. I hope you have understood the concept of adding responses, and you should give the responses because you need the information from the respondents, and if there are predefined responses, at that time it is very easy to analyze the data. Now I consider that you all are aware about how to send the data and how to do the basic settings and all things. I'm not going to uh, talk about that, but I consider that yeah, you will you can use the Google form. Okay. So if you have any query related to Google form or further clarification, if you require, I will give at the last. Okay. Then next, initially we will focus on merits and demerits of e-questionnaire. Okay. What are the merits of e-questionnaire? The response rate from the respondents may be higher in the case of e-questionnaire as compared to questionnaire. Because you all may not be aware about the how the questionnaire was used to collect the data before 2005, or you can say before 2000, in 1980s, 1970s, 1990s, etc. At that time researcher was selecting the respondents and sending the questionnaire through post or any other medium to the respondent. Suppose I am a respondent and Anupritji have sent a questionnaire to me through post, or you can say other post services similar to post office. I'm not knowing to Anupritji at that time what will happen. I may not respond properly to the questionnaire provided by Anupritji. So in by considering the questionnaire and e-questionnaire, response rate is higher in case of e-questionnaire. Then researcher can collect information from the respondent without any restriction located throughout the globe within a very short span of time. And for that some promotional offers also can be used, because nowadays we are observing through internet that fill this information, if you forward this to 10 persons, you rupees 10 will be credited or 100 will be credited to your account. Like that some pseudo offers are there, and I'm not saying that you should use that, but my motive is that you can get more response within a very short span of time, and for entire country or for throughout the globe, and that will be very much useful and it will validate your research outputs. Okay, next, merits of next, the cost incurred on the collection of the data through e-questionnaire is negligible, or you can say nothing is there, and it is environment friendly because you are not going to waste the paper. So it will be beneficial from the economical point of view. Then respondents identity may be recognized, and also a researcher can restrict multiple and fake entries in the questionnaire. That setting we can do, so we can get the correct information about any aspect or any research topic. Because but while collecting the data through e-questionnaire, please see that at least you are getting minimum required number of response. What is minimum required number of response? Just I would comment one experience. In the last month there was a conference of Deccan Geographical Society, and one researcher presented a research paper. Research paper was very nice, their presentation was very nice, but I didn't agree with them. Why? Because they collected only 80 responses. Most of the responses, you can say 80% responses were related to only X region. Suppose these are the various tehsils and subparts, and most of the responses received from region A, and they were talking about the entire region. So you should take care, and for that purpose, to avoid the fake entries and multiple entries, setting may be done, and this will be helpful to collect the qualitative data. Then success relies on the quality of the questionnaire. This is very important component. Last year I received a call from a researcher. He told that, sir, I have sent a questionnaire, kindly forward it to your students and students will fill the data. What was the questionnaire? That I'm not going to discuss, but I will discuss that part which should not be there. When I opened that e-questionnaire, there were 100 questions approximately. No one is going to answer the 100 questions, because persons like very short. If you have 10 objectives and for one objective you have 10 questions, at that time it is advisable that you should prepare 10 e-questionnaires and share in different times. At that time you will get more response. Otherwise you will not get any response. Another thing, there were some pseudo questions, or you can say the questions which are not related to research topic. Suppose I'm researching about flood, or I'm research. My objective is to analyze the landslides in the Konkan region. And at that time, I am asking either you are married, then how many childs you have, then are you a wife of suicide farmer who have committed the suicide, either you, either a girl or a spouse of that farmer. That type of unnecessary questions were there. So that person may not receive proper response or sufficient response. That you should avoid these mistakes while conducting your research and collecting the data through e-questionnaire. Also, sections can be arranged according to objectives and multiple questions can be framed, and it will be helpful for the proper data analysis because we are getting the responses. We will get the responses in spreadsheet, means we can get it in spreadsheet format or in CSV format. We can directly link the same to any GIS software, or we can directly import that data in SPSS also. So data analysis will be a matter of seconds only or few minutes only, not more than that. Then it is useful for the researchers. Researcher doesn't have the contact details about the respondent. I know, sorry, I'm interested to research on various bills. For example, SCAB, that is Citizen Amendment Bill, and I want to acquire the information from a specific type of community or from a person who is maybe affected by this bill or maybe benefited, not affected, maybe benefited by this bill. But I don't know either the person is benefited or not. At that time, e-questionnaires will be benefited. Initially, there were two questions. Either are you Indian citizen or immigrants, that is migrated from Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, etc. If the answer is A, yes, automatically next question will be opened. And if the answer is no, automatically submit button will be appeared. And that will be beneficial at the time of data analysis. So this is the merit of e-questionnaire. Then after answering the questionnaires, the respondent can immediately submit the same and it saves the time and money. This is also one of the merit of e-questionnaires. A researcher can give access to respondents to modify their answers even after the submission of the questionnaire, and that is also possible through e-questionnaire. It was not possible in hard questionnaire or traditional questionnaire method, but in through e-questionnaire this is very much possible. Then a researcher can invite scholars and researchers to edit the modify the questionnaire. Suppose I'm interested to carry out a research topic on changing aspects of population or population dynamics. Okay, at that time I'm thinking that Anupreet ji also should contribute, or he can contribute for the same. And one more is respondent have enough time to think and answer. So we will get the proper information and qualitative information. That qualitative information may be useful in our research and it will produce qualitative results. Even though some demerits are there, and that demerit is only literate, cooperative and techno-savvy people can answer the questions. The persons those don't have modern mobile, he may not attempt that questionnaire, e-questionnaire, and that is the only limitation of this e-questionnaire. Okay. Now we discussed about e-questionnaire, that how we can collect the data through e-questionnaire, and what are the benefits and merits and demerits of e-questionnaire. Now we are going to focus on SPSS. The data collected through e-questionnaire, that is Google form, can be directly imported into SPSS software, and through SPSS we can analyze the data within a very short span of time. Now we will talk about only what is the variable view and what is the data view. And if I have data, I don't know either, because very recently I have changed my laptop, so there may be a possibility that I may not have data. If I have data, I will demonstrate you how to prepare a table, how to calculate Z score and t test, etc., if time permits. See, variable view. Before going to collect the primary data, you should focus on SPSS and especially in variable view for the defining of variables. Okay. See, in my questionnaires, there are 10 questions. First question is name of the respondent. Okay. The second question is related to gender. I will write here gender. Okay. Third question is related to their age. Fourth question is related to their educational status. Education. I will write only education. Then fifth question may be related to caste, then religion, then you can say I am asking about the methods of waste management. So I will say waste underscore manage. Okay. P, SPSS is the software that can be used for the analysis of primary data. Suppose you have the census information. The census information may not be effectively processed or analyzed using SPSS software. For that, Excel will be better. But if you have collected the data, or you have the raw data of census, that is individual family information, at that time this SPSS software will be very much useful. Now I am going to discuss on type, width, decimal, label, values, missing columns, alignment, measure and role. See, name is the text information. So I am going to collect here string. Finish. When I will select the type string, width is 8. If I require the more width, I can change here to 10 or 15 or 24. Some it will be it according to our need. I have changed here to 24. Name should not have decimals, so decimals will be 0. Then label. In label, I am going to write that name, whom's name, that is name of a head of the family. Head of the family. Okay. This will be label. In values, none. In values, we are not going to assign any value. So missing will be none. Column we may increase to 20. Again, it will be according to need. Automatically alignment will be left for string information. You are not supposed to change. If you change, it will be difficult at the time of data analysis. Measure, what is measure? That is levels of measurement, that is nominal, ordinal, ratio. You Dr. Wankhede have already discussed about the levels of measurement. So I hope that these concepts may be clear with you, and role will be input. Okay. For gender, the information will be numeric. So width 8 is sufficient. Under label, decimals are not required here. So I am going to write 0. Under label, the gender of the respondent, gender of the respondent, that will be the label. In values, we are going to assign the value. That is 1, label is male. Okay. Now add. 2, label is female. Add. 3, label is transgender. Okay. Click on OK. Missing none, column 8 is sufficient. When we will select the type numeric, at that time alignment will be right. Don't shift that right to left or to any other center alignment. It should be right only. Nominal. The measurement level will be nominal. See, we have assigned value 1 for male, 2 for female, 3 for transgender. Why we have assigned? Just to identify, or with the view to identify, nothing another motive is there. Or it doesn't mean one is higher than the second or third is higher than the first and second. No meaning. We have assigned values just to identify the male and female and transgenders. So under measurement we will assign here nominal, and role will be input. Similarly, for age, age will be also numeric, and we are going to assign the values. Here again, age of the respondent. Again, we will assign values here because we are not interested in their age. We are interested in age group. We are interested in age group because our research, our outputs will be beneficial or will be useful only we know the age groups. So initially what I will do, I will write 1, and this is 0-6. This is the first age group. Then second, that is school going, you can say 7-16 or 18. This is another age group. It should have logic. Then I have third age group, that is 19-30. Sorry, values I will write 1, 19-30, add 4, 31-45, 5, 46-60, and 6 age group will be more than 60. More than 60. Or you can use symbol also. Okay. See, missing none, alignment right, scale will be nominal, etc. Then education, For education also we are going to add numeric information because SPSS is working only on numeric information. It may not be able to analyze the string information. Again, you will give the label. I'm not going to spend my time for adding the labels. I will show here. You can write 1 for illiterate, then educational level 2 is the primary, 3 is the secondary, 4 higher secondary, 5 graduate, 6 postgraduate, 7 doctorate. Okay. Click on OK. Missing none, always put it none. Columns 8 is sufficient. Alignment by default it will be right. Again, you need to select a proper ordinal, nominal or a scale. What is the level of measurement? Now, it will depend upon your research focus. If you are using the coding only just to identify the educational level of the person, at that time you may select the nominal. And if you are interested that how educational level is affecting on the process of waste management, at that time you can select here ordinal. For example, the person who is highly educated may have or may not have a proper mechanism to process or manage the waste produced at the home. So your motive is to analyze and test the hypothesis that educational level is not affecting on the methods of waste management. Accordingly, you need to consider. I will write here nominal because now my motive is to just to identify their educational level. I'm not going to give additional score for the educational level. It doesn't mean that postgraduate means he will get 50% rating. Doctoral will get 60% rating. Not like that. So I will click here only nominal. Similarly, caste, religion, all information you need to provide in digital format only. It means for religion, either you will provide right information 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. I think now you might have got the answer why I have put 1 male, 2 female, 3 transgender in my questionnaire, because I am planning to analyze that data using SPSS software. So before preparing a questionnaire, you should write all the questions. Initially put all the questions in variable view of SPSS, then go to design the questionnaire or e-questionnaire, collect the data and again come to analyze the data. Then only it will be very much helpful to analyze the data with a proper way, or you can say with fruitful results. Okay. Now I will focus on waste management process only, considering the time. This is also numerical information. Here I am going to provide the values. One, throwing on open place. This is the first response. Second, what I am doing, I have my own system of data management. Then management at the home. This will be the second response. Third, putting in the vehicle of municipal corporation. Okay. At click on OK. You may observe that here 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 is coming. Why it is coming? Because I need to write 0 under decimals. Now you may observe that now it came to 1, 2, 3 likewise. In this way, initially you prepare your questionnaire, put it in variable way, then go to preparation of e-questionnaire and then go to the data analysis. Now we will shift towards data view. Now you will see, suppose a name is the string information. In the I have write 1, it will take. Why? Because under string numeric information is also accepted. In gender, male, see, it is not taking. I am writing the male, it is not taking. Why? We have to provide that information only in numeric form. It means 1, 2, 3, 1, 1. Yes, I have committed some mistakes also. We will find out while analyzing. See, under education, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, we have committed some mistakes here. Okay. Then directly I will go to waste management because we are going to test the hypothesis. Now you just go to analyze descriptive statistics. Initially, I'm going to analyze the statistics. For what? For gender, yeah, gender of the respondent. Then I have the data set for educational level. I will go here. Then waste management. Okay. What type of statistical analysis I want to perform? I will click here. I need quartiles. Then I need percentiles. I need mean, median, mode. Then I need sum, or I may need the standard deviation, variance, range, minimum, maximum, then skewness, kurtosis. See, these all statistical analysis can be performed within a fraction of seconds only. Okay. Yes. I will click here on continue. Again, I will click here on chart. Do I need the chart? Yes, I need the bar chart. Frequencies or percentage, I need the bar chart for frequencies. I will click on continue. Then I will click here. Immediately you will find that statistical analysis has been completed by the software, and immediately I will get the information, I will get the charts, and these charts may be input for our research work. Now here we'll see that for waste management one is missing. What is that missing? You may find that I have written some another numbers that weren't provided in variable view, that 32 something here. Here you will find that 12, 23, 45, 65, 555. Yeah, all are missing numbers. Okay. Only the statistics related to illiterate, primary, secondary, higher secondary, graduate, postgraduate, that we need. So we may click there to remove missing numbers, and automatically these other numbers will be removed at the time of statistical analysis. So you will get an idea about how to carry out the statistical analysis using these data sets. Okay, I will close this. Yes. Okay. Now I'm also interested in descriptive statistics. Here, cross tabs. I want a table. Education in rows and waste management in columns. Okay. So I will click here. Okay. Okay. See, automatically this table has been prepared, that educational level is illiterate, and throwing on open space there is one respondent. You can see the educational level is primary, and they are throwing the west on open place. The number of responses are 4. The educational level is secondary, and throwing the west on open space, number of responses are 6. Similarly, this table we require in research, and when you will collect the data, you will put it in tabulation. It may require a lot of efforts, but using the SPSS or similar kind of software, you can analyze the data within a fraction of second. Yeah, I'm going to close this also. Again, I will go to analyze, then correlation we can calculate, we can custom the tables. Yeah, one way ANOVA or one sample t test. Why t test is performed? To test the hypothesis that initially I told you there is no correlationship between education and the method of waste processing. This is my null hypothesis. Now I want to test that hypothesis. So what I will do, I will select here education. I will select waste management. I will provide some options. Yeah, exclude cases analysis by analysis. Okay, continue. Then I will click OK. See, you will find here according to degree of freedom and number test values will be appeared here, mean difference, lower, upper, and this can be used at the time of the data processing. Actually, here I didn't receive a valid uh, results because our data set is very limited, or only I have put the numbers in front of you to show you how to analyze these data sets. That was the meeting, but I'm sure that you will use these methods to carry out your research. Similarly, there are so many options are available here under analyze table, compare means, then general linear model, unvariable, uh, then multivariable, repeated measures, etc. Generalized models, correlate, then regression you can calculate, then linear regressions can be calculated, neural networks, classification, two-step cluster, k-means. These are the various statistical concepts, and you can use the same for your research according to your need. Dimension reduction, that is factor, then correspondence analysis can be possible using this, then scale, then non-parametric tests also can be possible in SPSS. So this is the very short demo related to SPSS that I have given. Okay, now I will put it in minimize mode. Okay, now we will move towards Microsoft Word. Within few minutes, I will say within 5 to 10 minutes only, I will demonstrate on Microsoft Word, and then we will go towards conclusion. Okay. See, purposely I have given this research paper. I don't know the author, but I had received it for the analysis, that you can say as a referee to give my remarks. And when I went through this paper, I was not satisfied being a referee of the paper. See, for example, here you will find that Gondivale Budruk is a famous for Sri Brahma Chaitanya Gondavlekar Maharaj and Sri Appa Maharaj Samadhi temple. One full para has been written under introduction, but you will not find a single reference. And in research, every point, every topic should have a proper citation or a proper reference. Suppose someone told you that this is the Gondavlekar Maharaj and Appa Maharaj Samadhi temple is there, and that's why this is famous. But there may be some documented records, and we should consider that. And it is not the way that directly you started through your writings. Initially, you should talk about, because this paper is related to pilgrimage or religious tourist centers. So you should focus on religious tourist centers and cite some sources or some researchers, those who have researched the topic of religious tourist centers. So every sentence should be referenced. Now there are various methods of referencing. I'm not going to deliver that topic because day after tomorrow, tomorrow, Dr. Panduranga Chaudhary will enlighten you regarding the styles of referencing and what are the various softwares that you can use there. Only I'm going to give an insight about how we can utilize the Microsoft Word for referencing and effective writing. Suppose I'm talking about here Gondavlekar Maharaj. Okay, this should be put into italic. Why? because it is not a proper English terminology. This is the terminology taken from Marathi language. So I should put it in italic, and I may provide further information about Gondavlekar Maharaj for the readers. For that, I need to provide a footnote, and there are various techniques to provide footnote. Suppose I am taking this. Suppose this information is about Gondavlekar Maharaj. Okay, and I am giving here footnote. What most of the persons are doing, they are writing here footnote and providing that first footnote, writing here one manually, and also here at the Gondavlekar Maharaj they will write one and put it at the top. Okay, but what happens, suppose I increase the scope of introduction, what will happen? You might have observed that this footnote shifted to the second page. And this is not a proper way to give the footnote. Footnote should be on the same page. It should not be changed until and unless you remove that matter from that page. So for that purpose, you just go to here, references, here options are there, insert footnote, sorry, here insert footnote. And now what I will do, see, Z. I was talking about Gondavlekar Maharaj. So I will put my cursor after Gondavlekar Maharaj and I will go here and click footnote, and then I will insert my matter related to Gondavlekar Maharaj. See, automatically the matter on the page has been adjusted and it will not be changed. Even suppose I provided additional information related to introduction on the same page, you will find that footnote has not shifted, and that is the benefit of Microsoft Word, and we can use the same while writing our research. This is the one thing that you should be aware about. Then another thing is concerning the reference. We are writing a reference manually. For example, some researchers write like this: Patil dash 2019. Finish. This pattern may be correct, but in Microsoft Word, while writing, you should provide the references through the citations only. For that, under references, there is one option called insert citation. Here you will click and will click on add new source. Okay. Then I am talking about a journal article because the matter I have took from a journal article. Immediately I need to provide a name of the author. I will say Patil Sardar. Okay. Then title of the paper, I will give here title H. You only understand the conceptual background. Then I will write the name of journal, then year 2019, then pages 1-6, then volume second, issue first. You can click here to show all bibliographic fields, etc. Click OK. Okay. Now you will see that number has been appeared here because I have selected here IEEE format. But suppose I am submitting a paper to a journal and there they require the referencing in Chicago format. I will select here Chicago, automatically the method will change here. I will select APA, yes, automatically it will be shifted. And while writing that, you should take care that your surname should be at the last, because now just I have observed here your surname should be at the last, and then only you can give the proper citation. One more thing that I want to convey you, because you are the students of PG and it may be more useful to you. You just go to Google and search for Grammarly application and download for Word. There is one extension for the Word, and install it in your PC. Then open your Microsoft Word, automatically Grammarly will be displayed here. Now you can see here that these sentences we are thinking that it is written very good, and yeah, but actually it has so many mistakes are there. Yeah, I will just show to you. You click on open Grammarly. Okay. Now you will find that in the writing and other things there are so many mistakes are there. See, the festivals have a great significance in the human life, not the, because you are not talking about only selected human. If you are talking about a group, then it is okay, the human. The article should not be there. So see, automatically Grammarly shown the same. Again go to the next sentence. Yeah, here the environment should be there. The environment. Okay. See, here we will find there is dominance of Hindu religions. This is the sentence, but Grammarly is suggesting Hindu religions are dominant, and this is the correct sentence. This will be the correct sentence. Similarly, you can increase the level of quality of English writing also, and some other techniques are also there, but now it is 5:30, so I have to stop here. If you are interested, we may conduct the sessions for SPSS separately and for this writing skills also. So with this last slide, I conclude my session. I hope that you might have enjoyed my session. Thank you very much. If you have any query, any doubts, or if you require any further clarification, please feel free to contact me. You can contact in the latter stage, or now also you can ask the questions. Thank you very much.